Welcome back, my friends, to r/entitled parents. Today we've got 4 stories. In the first one, an entitled mom demands to use OP's house when they're gone and tries to force her way in. In the second one, OP slaps an entitled mom's out-of-control kid. In the third one, a Karen lurking around a grocery store after close demands to be helped. And the last one is about OP's mom always volunteering her for stuff she never agreed to. And before we jump in, I just want to share with you guys this incredible piece of fan art this longtime viewer made. I'm pretty blown away by it, and it's the first time anyone's ever made fan art for this channel, so I'm extremely humbled. If you're watching this, thank you. And also, check out this wonderful gem of a post real quick. My son was so excited to show me the art he drew on my car with a rock. This one's titled, "Mom expects me to let her and her kid hang out in my house when I'm about to leave." This all happened during the Texas power outages. My whole street had lost power, and I was getting ready to head to my uncle's house because he had electricity. Not even kidding, 2 minutes before I was about to leave, I get a knock at the door. I go to answer it, and I see my neighbor who lives in the house behind me. We'll call her Big Bertha, with her kid. I say, "Hey," and ask what's going on. Big Bertha tells me they had family occupying their house, and they needed a place to stay because it was too full. I said to them, "Sorry, I'm leaving myself. I won't be able to let you guys stay." Keep in mind, I barely know these people. She responds with the most entitled statement ever. "So, you're going to be the reason we freeze. Selfish." I was honestly in shock. I didn't know what to do. I was just expecting for her to accept it and be on her way. I said, "I'm sorry," and I went to close the door. As it was closing, I heard her say, "Ouch!" I turned around to see she put her foot between the door so it wouldn't close. She then opened it back up and stepped into my house, yanking her kid with her. Looking at me, she says, "We're not leaving." What? What do you mean you're not leaving? I didn't know what to think. This fool was acting like she was the dictator of r/weekly dictator or something. At that point, I knew she was too stubborn to be convinced. I'd have to trick her. What I did was I said, "Here, come with me. I'll get you the spare key to my house so you can access it while I'm gone. It's out front." I grabbed my bags and had them follow me outside. As soon as the door closed, I locked it, ran to my car, and sped out of my driveway. I nearly ran over Big Bertha because she thought she could stop me by standing in the middle of the road, but I swerved onto someone's lawn. When I got to my uncle's, I realized I forgot my phone, but it turned out alright because I didn't really need it anyways. But my gosh, that lady was insane, and I haven't seen her since that incident. If there's an entitlement scale, she's definitely up there as one of the more entitled people on this subreddit. As if forcing yourself into someone's house is just gonna make the homeowner go, "You know what, you're right, I'll just let you stay here." Now, before we get into this next story, I just want to point out that given the title and what happens in the story, it might be a bit controversial to some and might set some people off. But before making any assumptions on it, definitely just hear the story out first and get some context on what actually happened. And this one's titled, "That Time I Slapped an Entitled Kid After Many Warnings to His Entitled Mom." Context: I'm a male and I was 15 years old at the time. I was at a friend's birthday party. He had a bunch of his extended family and a few friends over, including entitled mom and kid. We were having an outside barbecue in his garden. This took place about 5 years ago. The entitled mom is one of my friend's mom's cousins, and her precious little angel is 6 years old. My friend is 15 years old, and I just got back from an hour-long walk due to not being able to get a lift. Onto the story. I arrived about 20 minutes late to the party, due to walking from my house and underestimating how long it would take. I was greeted by my friend at the gate in the typical semi-awkward man hug of teenage males, and was invited for a cold can of Coke and a sit-down after walking an hour to be there. As me and my friend were chatting, entitled mom was stood nearby, speaking very loudly. "Well, if that's C's best friend, why is he so late? And look at the way he's dressed. That boy is just plain poor." For context, I was wearing a slightly baggy blue t-shirt and pale brown khaki cargo shorts with white non-branded trainers. My friend C then says to her, he's late because even though his dad's at work and his mom's car is in the garage, he still wanted to be here, so he walked from his house to be with me for my birthday. And just cause he's not wearing the fanciest clothes, doesn't mean he's poor. It's roasting, and he was walking. He wore clothes that'd be comfy. C then turned to me and we went to the other end of the garden, where a few of our mutual friends were hanging out. I thanked him for sticking up for me and assumed that was that. But boy oh boy, was I in for a surprise. Not 10 minutes later, entitled kid comes charging over and starts shouting and slapping at me. At first, I just try to ignore him, but after about 5 minutes of constant annoyance, I politely ask him to stop hitting me and to go back to his parents. "But Mummy said that I could play rough with you," said entitled kid. "I'm sorry, kiddo, but I'm tired. I don't want to play right now. Maybe later," I said. Entitled kid then runs off, and we see him run up to his entitled mom and talk to her and point at us. Entitled Mom death glares us, and then bends over to Entitled Kid, speaks to him, and nudges him towards us. Once again, Entitled Kid charges up and starts slapping at me and yelling. This time, on his 5th or 6th slap, I block it and grab his wrist gently, then tell him, "Please stop hitting me. It hurts and I don't want to play." My friend C takes his hand and we all go to Entitled Mom, and C says, "Entitled Mom, stop telling your kid to smack my friend, please. It's hurting him." Then we all walked away. This must have happened 6 or 7 times, and each time C would get angrier with Entitled Mom, eventually telling her that if her kid didn't stop hurting me, that he'd give me permission to fight back. After a massive rant about the arrogance of today's youth, Entitled Mom takes her kid, and C brings me and our friend group some food. Not 5 minutes later, this kid is back again. This time, C picks him up and carries him back to Entitled Mom. "I told you, we don't want to play with your kid. Please stop sending him to us," said C. "But he's bored," said Entitled Mom. C replies, "I don't care. You're ruining my birthday party. This is my final warning. If Entitled Kid hurts me again, he will be hitting back." After shouting this, C storms back to us and we decide to go inside C's room to play his Xbox or watch a film. Halfway over, I hear a shrill scream and Entitled Kid charges into me and punches me square in the genitals with all the force in his chubby little body. I shoved him away and doubled over slightly and yell at him, "What the hell, kid? I told you I don't want to play." Before anyone can react, Entitled Kid is back on me, screaming and punching me. So I did the only thing I could think of. I slapped him round the face. Before you get all mad, I didn't slap him very hard. Enough that it hurt and made his cheek a little pink. However, what I didn't think about was that my hand was roughly the size of this kid's head. So when I slapped him, he was thrown on the floor, where he promptly began wailing at the top of his lungs, drawing the eyes of the 5 or 6 people who hadn't seen him attack me. Entitled Mom storms over and begins screaming about assaulting a child, and how "you'll pay for this," and he was just playing. When she paused to take a breath, C stepped forward and said, "You were warned. Your horrific brat has been hitting my friend despite being asked many times not to." Entitled Kid attacked him for no reason, and OP defended himself. "This is your fault. You've ruined my birthday." C then leads me inside for an ice pack, and C's parents send everyone home. His dad later said to me, "I feel I need to tell you off because you shouldn't have smacked that kid, but in your position, I'd have knocked that little brat's head off long before, so in the future, just try to avoid him." I agreed and apologized, and everything was cool. Entitled Mom wasn't invited to any other family event involving C, so all in all, a good ending. Honestly, that kid probably learned a good lesson that day. It's obvious his mom never taught him boundaries or self-control, or that his behavior can actually hurt other people, and his mom was even encouraging that behavior. So I personally don't think OP was in the wrong at all. This kid had many warnings. It doesn't matter what age you are, if you're gonna repeatedly hit someone and then even punch him in the nuts, you better expect to get hit back, because at that point, there's really no other way to react to it. With all these stories though, this is obviously just my opinion. Feel free to disagree with me. What do you guys think? Did OP take it too far, or was it justified? And this one's titled, "No, I'm not checking the back room because you're not supposed to still be here." So some background. This happened in the spring of 2020, during the height of the pandemic lockdown. I work at a supermarket, so we were one of the lucky businesses that got to stay open with little change to our store's operation. The only major difference being we closed at 8 p.m. instead of midnight. Because I work stocking the shelves, even though we closed at 8 p.m., I was usually scheduled until 9 or 10 p.m., depending on the night, and would spend the last hour or two of my shift stocking the shelves while listening to my iPod. Yes, I still have an iPod. Also, during the time of this story, my store was undergoing a pretty significant and much needed remodel. So one night, probably about 10 minutes or so after we closed, I was stocking some hair shampoo when I felt a tap on my shoulder, which scared the crap out of me. I turned around and came face to face with an angry customer. I paused my music and took my headphones off, and the woman immediately half screams, "I can't believe they let you listen to music while working." So I told her, "Ma'am, we closed 10 minutes ago." She responded with, "I know, but I just need a few more things. Do you think you would check the back for some baby wipes? I need them for my daughter." I sighed and told her, "We're all out of baby wipes." She rolled her eyes and said, "You can't just check the back for me. It'll only take you 2 minutes. I looked her dead in the eye and told her, "No, I won't go check the back, because I know for a fact that we don't have any, and we closed 10 minutes ago." She huffed and whined, "So, you're not going to help me?" And I reiterated, "We closed 11 minutes ago." At that moment, our night manager walked by during his final sweep of the store, saw the customer and said, "Ma'am, you need to go check out. We're closed." And she said, I just need a few more things. But this rude girl won't go check the back for something. So my manager says, "Ma'am, we're closed, and even if we weren't, we have a construction crew doing electrical work in the back room right now. So for the safety of our workers, we're not allowed to go back there. Now I need you to go to the last register and check out because we're closed." The woman whined, "But I still need to get a few more things, and I don't want to have to come back tomorrow." The manager sighed and told her, "It is currently 8:13. Our registers will automatically shut off at 8:15. And once they shut off, they can't be turned on until tomorrow morning. So unless you start your transaction within the next 2 minutes, you're going to have to come back another day." The woman huffed and said, "Fine, but I can't believe how rude you people are. She was listening to music when I first came up to her. I can't believe you allowed that sort of behavior." The manager sighed, looked at his watch and said, "Ma'am, we're closed, and you have 1 minute to get to the front and check out, or I'm going to refuse to serve you." The woman stormed off towards the last open register, while the manager followed behind her, and I went back to stocking shampoo while listening to my music. These store workers were already doing her a favor by letting her check out 10 minutes after close, but that wasn't good enough for her. She decided to take it further. People that come into businesses right before close, or especially after close, have a special kind of hell waiting for them. This one's called, "My Entitled Mom Keeps Volunteering Me for Things." I'm a 25-year-old female, and I'm a student in culinary school for baking and pastry. As part of COVID school adjustments, I'm required to make a specific type of dessert each week. This week was a fruit pie or cobbler. I did peach cobbler. I plan to take the cobbler to work after my parents had some. Next thing I know, my mom volunteers that my aunt, we'll call her S, should have the rest for her family. Never mind that I had other plans for it. Whatever. And suddenly, it's apparently my job to call my aunt and arrange this. Nah, this was your idea, you work it out. She does this all the time. "Oh, your work is giving out COVID vaccines? See if you can get S on the list." I'm going to get my vaccine first." That's selfish of you. No, it's smart. S is a stay-at-home mom. I have interaction with people every day, and I'm at more risk than she is. "Oh, you got a day off. You should take the kids out for lunch so S can have a day off." No, I'm going to take my day off to do things that I need to do. Stop volunteering me for crap. I can really see how that would get pretty annoying after a while, especially since OP's 25. Just tell her no, OP, when she asks stuff like this, and don't feel bad about it at all. You're an adult, and you have absolutely no obligation to bend to her will when she asks you all this ridiculous stuff. If she's gonna demand for you to do all this stuff without any actual consideration into what you actually want to do, then that's even more of a reason for you to just not care, in my opinion. And this was r/Entitled Parents. Thanks for watching, everyone. As always, you know what to do. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Stay beautiful, everyone. I'll see you next time.